a new political movie on the horizon, Tomi Lahren gets an unwanted shower, and Roseanne closes out the season. All of that today on The Rebel Buzz. All right, facts first before I get into my commentary. As reported by Entertainment Weekly, a new movie developed by Annapurna Pictures highlighting the women of Fox News, as well as following the life and career of Fox News former chairman and CEO Roger Ailes, has been greenlit. Actress Charlize Theron is set to play the role of former Fox News personality Megyn Kelly, who, as you all I'm sure remember, left her primetime slot at that network upon securing a multi-year deal with NBC, which subsequently kind of flopped. The director of the untitled movie is Jay Roach and is being written by Charles Randolph, who also wrote the movie The Big Short. As many of you remember, Roger Ailes resigned from the network in 2016 after a sexual and workplace harassment scandal shook the entire Fox News family. The impetus for the downward spiral began when former Fox News host Gretchen Carlson filed a $20 million sexual harassment lawsuit against Roger Ailes. That lawsuit was settled, but another former host, Andrea Tantaros, filed a lawsuit that just last week was thrown out in a New York federal court, with a judge citing that the plaintiff's amended complaint is based primarily on speculation and conjecture, and moreover fails to adequately make out the basic elements of her claims. Now, they have yet to announce any names floated for the role of Roger Ailes or Andrea Tantaros, and no word whether former Fox News personalities like Julie Rodzinski will be portrayed in the movie at all. We will see. Now, for my commentary, I don't know what happened behind closed doors at Fox News. I've come into contact with hundreds of people at that network while doing dozens of segments on their shows, and I have never felt harassed or belittled or otherwise treated with anything other than professionalism and respect. And I've never been pressured to say a certain thing on air or wear certain revealing clothing. Everybody talks about this miniskirt clause that apparently was in effect over there, or anything of that nature. That's my experience. But again, my experience could be very different from that of Megyn Kelly or Gretchen Carlson or Andrea Tantaros or any others. But I have no doubt that this movie is going to be an excoriating account of Fox News as a whole. It's no secret that Hollywood has an enormous amount of disdain for Fox News, or as they call it, what do they call it? Faux news? Yeah. Which is funny considering how often other networks are forced to issue redactions, corrections, or outright apologies. I do wonder if we're moving into a political movie cycle. Film industry plots, I don't know if you've noticed, they tend to be cyclical. You'll have a period of time where a lot of movies come out about aliens, and then it's a Harry Potter type subject. Or avatars or superheroes, something like that. And coming off the heels of Chappaquiddick, I don't know, maybe this will be the new trendy movie plot for the next year or two or so. Now, will I see the Fox News movie? I doubt it. I have a very favorable view of the network and those with whom I have corresponded with, and I don't want Hollywood's opinion of the network to tarnish that. I don't think I'm alone in my sentiment either. I think it will likely bomb at the box office. Box office sales across the country, with a few exceptions, were generally lower this year than in years past. And since Donald Trump was elected, Americans have been emboldened and incentivized to send a message to Hollywood, which is, we don't support you anymore. And if Americans aren't inclined to go to theaters for other non-political movies, why on earth are they going to go to the movies to see what is likely to be a very devilish portrayal of some of their favorite Fox News personalities? It don't make sense. I think it's gonna. All right, moving on. Conservative firebrand Tomi Lahren got a shower that she did not ask for, courtesy of a stranger at a restaurant in Minneapolis. She and her mother were enjoying their weekend and decided to stop in at Union Restaurant in downtown Minneapolis for brunch. Upon leaving the restaurant, a table of patrons proceeded to yell obscenities at her, and then they threw a drink at her, which consequently hit her mother as well. How nice, right? On Fox and Friends, Tomi commented on the incident saying this.
And again, this was something that was embarrassing for me and embarrassing for my family. At the end of the day, I'm a person too, and I do get humiliated and embarrassed just like anyone else, but I'm tough. My family's tough. We can handle it. I think that...
Now, Twitter, of course, had opinions about it too. While many people praised the hecklers, saying that she deserved it because of any number of illegitimate reasons, but mainly because they just disagree with her. But a great deal of support also poured in for her, with some notable surprises. Kathy Griffin, who we all know and love, just kidding, she's despicable, she tweeted this: "I couldn't disagree more with @Tomi Lahren, but I don't think it's cool to resort to physical actions to make your point." And President Trump also tweeted his support for her, saying this: everybody is with Tomi Lahren, a truly outstanding and respected young woman. Now, I hope these hecklers realize the repercussions of their actions are precisely the opposite of what I think they probably hoped for. They wanted to embarrass her, they wanted to belittle her, and ultimately just ruin her day. However, she was the #1 trending topic on Twitter. Thousands of tweets poured in support of her, and the President of the United States tweeted his support for her. So the devious part of my psyche has contemplated whether Tomi Lahren should press charges to just kind of rub some salt into their wounds. There's certainly a legal precedent for assault here, but either way, these folks look like small-minded, immature, petulant trolls, so I don't know, maybe that's good enough. And just to express my personal opinion, I am not a huge fan of hers. Everybody has their preferences, but I have never really been a fan of screaming and yelling to get your point across. Her videos often portray someone who seems constantly angry and indignant, and that's a hard life to suffer. I prefer to use humor, or attempt to use humor, to pull people over to our side. I think you can compel people to rethink their ideas more effectively with humor and facts than with anger and self-righteousness. But that's just my 2 cents. For our final topic of the day, Roseanne went out with a bang. The 9th and final episode of this season brought in 10.3 million viewers and a 2.4 rating. In the key 18 to 49 demographic, the show beat out the season finale for NCIS, the season finale for CW's The Flash, NBC's The Voice, This Is Us, and The Big Bang Theory. Now, throughout the whole season, though never mentioning specifically the president by name, the show kind of felt like staring into a fishbowl, witnessing a Trump-supporting mom battling political issues with varying levels of non-Trump supporting family members. This final episode tackled the issues of illegal immigrants and the problem of low-skill job availability because of them, and skyrocketing healthcare costs, which was briefly touched on in an early episode when Roseanne and her on-screen husband Dan barter and exchange prescription drugs. I don't know if you remember the episode, but in that particularly hilarious scene, Dan says to Roseanne, "Funny story, our insurance don't cover what it used to, so I got half the drugs for twice the price." He goes on to say, "I'll trade you 5 of my statins for 5 of your anti-inflammatories, and I will sweeten the pot by throwing in a couple of blood pressures." Now, the allure of Roseanne and the catalyst for its success had a lot to do with middle America's exhaustion of entertainment and news media's constant attacks on not only the president, but the basket of deplorables, the people like us who suffered most under rising taxes and unemployment, coupled with rising healthcare costs. Americans were tired of shows that pushed a liberal narrative and portrayed liberals as modern and smart and sexy and sophisticated, and then the rest of America just didn't matter. This is why Roseanne was such a success this season. It's why it got picked up for yet another season, and why it will continue to do well as a beacon of normalcy in a sea of progressive political entertainment propaganda. Everybody, have a great weekend. I'm Amanda, Head for The Rebel. If you enjoyed my commentary and opinions, we've got an unlimited supply of them here at The Rebel, so subscribe to our premium content at www.therebel.media/shows. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter for all of our latest news, and download our app for The Rebel Media on the App Store. That way you will have easy and immediate access to all of our latest videos and your favorite Rebel shows. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Have a great weekend. I'm Amanda, Head for The Rebel.